Hey writer, if you're ready to level up, then buckle up. Get your pen and paper ready. It's time for another episode of the Art and Business of Writing podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Art and Business of Writing podcast. I am your host, Chris Jones, and today I want to talk to you guys about goal setting. Yes, it's almost March. Yes, you've probably set resolutions and goals, but I want to teach you a way of setting goals on a day-to-day or a month-to-month or whatever that I learned from Stephen Covey, because I feel like this way of setting goals will yield you the greatest result fastest. And so what is it? So Stephen Covey was obsessed with this concept of wildly important goals, having these goals that just drive you mad, that you really want to achieve, and that these goals are just, they're so out there and so big that, you have to really dig in and focus to get them because it's something that you really, truly want to do. And so for writers, that tends to be either publishing your book, getting an agent, writing the book, or promoting and selling the book. Those are typically the big things that authors want to do that we all consider as wildly important goals. And so what Stephen Covey would talk about was a system that he used called lead and lag measures for tracking and monitoring goal activities. And so what a lag measure is a lag measure tells, if you've achieved a goal. So the book selling, selling your book is a lag measure because that is the goal you're trying to achieve, or acquiring an agent, or finishing the book, or even writing the book. Those are all qualified as lag measures because they are the indicator that you've hit your goal. And so once you've done that, it means you've made it, you've done it. And so the lag measure, according to Covey, tracks the success of your wildly important goal. The lags are the things that you lose sleep over, you obsess over them. They're the things that drive you mad because you really want them. Again, wildly important. Think about that. Now, the lead measures track the activities that it takes to get to the goal. So everything that you need to do to achieve that goal. So let's say your lag measure is losing weight. All of your lead measures are going to be diet and exercise. It's going to be, getting enough sleep. It's going to be taking in enough water. So be thinking about that, because what I want to do is I want to go through some examples of lead and lag for what authors can do to produce books, because this is very important to us. And so let's say that our lag measure is book sales. We want to just blow it out and sell a lot of books. So we define X number of books that we want to sell. Okay, so that's our lag measure. Our lead measure, everything that influences this goal, because we don't determine that if people buy books. That's why it's a lag measure. We have no control over that aspect. And so with the lead measure, how do we influence that? Well, we influence that book sales number by getting in front of more people, right? Whether that's using social media more to develop a presence, whether that's public speaking in order to speak directly to our audience and sell books, from the stage or from an exhibit hall. Doing readings, going places and reading our book and selling our books at readings, doing book signings, whether we're doing something at Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or somewhere else that allows us to sit down and sign books and interface with customers. And also, whether it's making videos, whatever it is, whatever activity that you are very accomplished at that has a sales component to it, that's going to be your lead measure. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, if book sales is the top of list for you right now, sit down and think of all the lead measures that you can do to influence that. Again, like I said, this is one of the best ways of setting goals because it makes you think about, how am I going to do it? It's not that I just want to sell books. Everybody wants to sell books, and maybe you hop on Twitter or Facebook and ask people to buy your books or whatever the case may be. But doing it this way, you actually sit down and write actionable steps. You know how to influence that goal because you've written it all down. The next one, getting published through an agent. If you want to get an agent this year, that's your lag measure. Again, the agent is someone that you can't just walk into her office and say, represent me. It's not like an attorney where you can put down money and they go to represent you. It's a whole different ballgame. So that is your lag measure, acquiring an agent. So what would your lead measures look like? Well, how do you influence an agent to sign you? That's what you're thinking. What do I need to do to influence an agent to sign me? And part of being influential isn't begging an agent or asking an agent or following them around kind of like a puppy, but you're making yourself marketable because you are a product to the agent. So how do I make myself a product is what you need to think about. How do I make myself marketable to an agent? So your lead measures may look like this. For a fiction author, it's writing your book and having your proposal ready and being ready to submit with your query letter. For a nonfiction author, it's having your sample chapters ready, having your proposal written, and having your query letter done. It's also building your platform. Find out if the agent requires that, and then what they look for in a platform. It may be that you need a rock star website, that you might need an email list of a significant number. You may need social following. You may need more, media opportunities, whether you've spoken to people or you've done interviews on television, media links on your website. It could be guest speaking, guest blogging, writing about your topic on popular industry websites. If you're writing like I do, I write about writing. So if I'm writing about how to write or tips and strategies for writers, I'm going to want to do that on like writersdigest.com, or I'm going to want to do it on Poets and Writers or some of these other writing websites. So be thinking about how you can build your influence within your sphere of influence. Also, in terms of an agent, finding out who that person represents or some people that they represent, and then asking them in an email or having a call with them and saying, hey, look, I know such and such agent represents you. What do they expect of me? Getting very, very clear. The agent will be clear enough on their website, but then you dial into the actual person they represent, you'll get even more nuggets of wisdom. So that's another way to think of it. But, follow the agent online, converse with the agent, like talk to them on Twitter, on Facebook, whenever they post things, share their posts, really just dig in. So those are your lead measures for acquiring an agent. Those are how you set goals and then measure that against the end. So when you do those things and you start to see progress in those areas, you know that you're getting closer to that goal. Lastly, if writing a book is your goal, if you want to write a book in a year, if that's your lag measure, well, what are your lead measures to getting that done? Well, how do you influence that? How do you get to that goal? Well, you do that by having a writing schedule, sitting down and figuring out when you can write, where you can write, just getting yourself down to a schedule. And then now getting to know proofreaders, editors, find out who they are, where they are. Do they edit your type of genre? But get to know those people early. Know who's going to be working with your book. If you can, the sooner the better. And then also finding out who designs book covers, who designs book covers in your genre, who designs covers that you like, someone who's very sound graphically, who understands book design, and then get to know them early in the process too. That way, when you're done with writing your book, you just move on and hand it along to the next person, and your dream, again, takes shape. That wildly important goal takes shape. So these are just a couple, ways that you can use lead and lag measures that Stephen Covey does for goal setting as a writer. I definitely suggest that you try it. I've done it many times where I've set a goal as a lag measure. I look at something very wildly important I want to do, something big, something I know that, without setting the proper goals below, I'm probably not going to reach it. And then setting those lead measures. Okay, well, how do I influence that goal? How do I get closer to that goal? How do I move myself in position to strike to get that goal? That's all I got for you guys today. Any feedback, hit me up on the website, chrisjonesinc.com. But yeah, let's set these wildly important goals and let's really dial in with those lead measures, because I think we all have great lag measures. I think we all know what those are. We know where we want to be. We know how that we want to achieve certain things. We just got to get very clear on the how. And then, Stephen Covey says, once you get clear on that how, once you get your lead measures in place, the lag will take care of itself. And I firmly believe that. So guys, cheers to a great weekend. Have a great day and happy writing.
How's that for inspiring? I hope you take action on one thing you learned in today's episode. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast and left a review on iTunes, I want to encourage you to do that too. Finally, be sure to visit chrisjonesinc.com to sign up for updates. Don't worry, I won't spam you. And we'll see you back here next week for another episode.